Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video, and today I want to bring you something far more important than fridge talks, and it's about Vault 94 raids and why people are staying away from it. In other words, why is it being a failure since the very release until this point, 3 weeks after it came out. Let's get into it. Vault 94 came out about 3 weeks ago, and after release, things were pretty good. The hype was there, but too bad it didn't last long. A few days after Vault 94 opened its doors, things started to decline because people understood that the difficulty was quite up there, and a lot of things were at stake, such as communication and coordination, and finding a team as well, which is something that even now it is difficult. Why? Because there is no automatic matchmaking system, and without premates it makes things very complicated to get going. Even in busy Discord servers like my own, it is not so easy to get 4 people together to do a vault raid every single day. Anyway, I wanted to wait a little bit before I put my opinion out there because, number one, I wanted to experience the 3 different missions: Dead in the Water, Washout, and Meltdown. So the last mission finished a few days ago, and I also wanted to see how everything progresses, if people do vault raids more or less, if their opinion changes meanwhile, but nothing really changed since the first week. People want to stay away from vault raids. They are scared of getting bugged, of losing gear, of game crashes, of power armor, no controls bugs. There's a list for power armor bugs. And there are many other reasons why people don't want to do vault raids. So I came out with 9 valid reasons of why Vault 94 has been a failure, and some of these reasons are on Bethesda, but others not so much. I mean, they could have studied their community a little bit better to understand what type of content would be successful and more accepted by everyone or the majority, but in this case I think they just released content that has satisfied a minority. Some people are indeed happy, but most of the community is not so happy. In fact, there are hardly anyone with the new armor set plans or the pieces. That's proof enough that vault raids has not been successful at all. So let's move on to the 9 points that show why vault raids are not doing so well, and I can blame people for not wanting to do this, because they have really strong points for not wanting to do vault raids. I mean, who can blame them really? Not me for sure. Anyway, let's get into it. Alright, so Bethesda has designed a 4-man instance, but they forgot to include a matchmaking system. I said forgot on purpose because it doesn't make any sense, especially if you take in consideration the automatic matchmaking system in Nuclear Winter, which is live for 2 months now. So why can't they apply the same technology to vault raids? It would make things so much easier, and it would give people a chance to actually try to do vault raids, because right now this place around the vault is generally empty, and if you don't have friends or a premade or a Discord server to ask for a team up, it is basically impossible to get a 4-man team and, well, to attempt to do the vault, unless you want to solo in Novice, but that won't get you far, because in Novice you don't get any plans, and the max you can get is to vault steal per run per day. Number 2 is a huge concern since day 1, because you need so many resources to even attempt to do vault raids. You need a lot of ammo, you need steam packs, radaways, food, water, the basic things, and then you also need junk or repair kits to keep repairing your armor and your weapons. And you don't get much out of vault raids as in rewards. They have just increased experience gain and 8 items, which helps a little bit. You also get the ammo, bulk, junk items, but that's not enough, really. You waste so many bullets here, it is just crazy. And one repair kit per run. I mean, sometimes several armor parts break, or the power armor or weapons. If you are using several weapons, then that's even more likely to break. And you end up using way more resources than the value that you get out of the vault raids. Of course, you are here ideally for the new armor set plans, but still, you have to waste or invest a lot of time and resources. Actually, we normally farm before we enter vault raids, because otherwise it will be a complete mess and we will run out of resources like fusion cores, for example, and bullets, mostly. Vault 94 raids are not so easy even in novice. Of course, you will have all the time in the world to do and solve all the puzzles that they ask of you, but having no time limits doesn't necessarily mean that tasks become easier. It just means that you have all the time you need to learn and get things done. However, when you move to standard or expert, you have that intense pressure on your shoulders with the time limit. Also, there is no time or room for mistakes. So if you are distracted or you don't know exactly what to do, you can easily cost the entire run for your team, and that's incredibly bothersome for everyone included. Plus, some of the puzzles in vault raids are quite random, which means if you get the easier puzzles, you will probably be fine. But if you get the more challenging ones, don't get surprised if you actually fail the raid, because RNG is a big factor here, and sometimes you just need to pray a little bit to the RNG gods to get things moving. It is how it works here, sadly. But as you do it more and more, you will get more familiar with all the types of puzzles that is included in each different mission, and then naturally things will become easier as time goes by. But until then, make sure to run novice and understand the general concept. Or of course, check my guides, that works too, I think. Talking about difficulty and RNG factors, well, vault raids are extremely time consuming because each run consists of 4 or 5 rooms, and there are puzzles in almost every single room. So it depends on what difficulty you are doing and with whom you are doing it. It depends a lot, but normally I take 2 hours per day to do the 3 difficulties without failing once. But if your idea of playing Fallout 76 is to relax, to have a great time, then vault raids is definitely something that you want to stay away from. For many different reasons. For example, you will probably die quite often, especially if you don't watch your HP, or if you are attempting a bloodied build in here, then you will die all the time. Also because you need to think a lot, you need to be consistently talking with your teammates, you need to be doing something, otherwise time runs out and you're out of the run. So there's a lot of things that you need to do at once, and that's not easy, especially after a long day of work. If you are tired, exhausted, this is something that you definitely don't want to do, because this is the opposite of relaxing. So I really understand everyone who doesn't want to do this for this very same reason. I have already mentioned that Vault 94 rewards are kinda lacking, but one of the biggest issues right now is the Vault 94 steel rewards, which are insanely low. For example, the Strangler Heart Power Armor set requires 150 steel, more or less, for the entire set. That's a lot of days of farming if you do the 3 difficulties every day, which is not so likely. Now, there are two other sets right now, the Thorn and the Solar. So if you are looking forward to craft everything, that's months upon months of farming steel. That's insane. And I don't think this is viable. I mean, it's just so much time, so many resources, and there is so many other things to do in Fallout 76, especially with the Wastelanders DLC coming up. I don't think people want to keep grinding this vault for months to come. Do you? For everyone out there who is not doing vault trades and is expecting that later on people who are currently doing it will sell their plans, well, let me break it to you. The plans are untradeable. That means that you cannot sell them or trade them directly. All you can do is learn the plans or drop them, but they will disappear once you drop them. Pretty much like the Atomic Shop costumes, for example. So this means that you will never be able to purchase a plan for the new sets of armor. Huh. I thought you could actually sell it. Now, no wonder I have never seen it in any other player's vendor machines. Also, something that you must know is that you can only get one plan per character. When you have all the plans, you will no longer get plan rewards from completing Vault raid missions. I know, Vault 94 is one of the highest endgame content or features for Fallout 76. But let's be real here, there's so many new players right now, especially because the game has been dropping in price and more people are buying it because it's kind of cheap and they want to try the game out. But they surely won't be trying a Vault 94 because that's way out of their league. I mean, they can still try it, but they will be obliterated in here. I actually had a low-geared player in my team in the beginning, in Dead in the Water at the release, and he had huge issues in being here. He was constantly dying and he couldn't kill anything. It was utterly frustrating for him. So I must say that Vault 94 is really not accessible for most people right now, which are new players and people with not so great gear. I mean, there are still lots of old players, but this content is definitely not inclusive, and that's not necessarily a positive thing right now. Another reason that is keeping people away from Vault 94 is the incredible amount of bugs that can happen here, like doors not opening, terminals not updating, keys and other puzzles not really updating either. Like you do what they ask of you and it takes 1 minute to update. That also happens sometimes. But overall, you can crash, especially when you enter the pause room in the Meltdown mission, like it happened to me here. And power armor bugs are also very common in here, just like in silo runs. I don't know why, because it's an instance maybe. But bugs are something that terrify people, and with that Reddit post about someone who lost all their gear in Vault 94, I think people are very wary of this place and they really don't want to take risks. They don't want to risk losing their gear or having the most terrible experience of their Fallout 76 lives, and again, I can't blame them. My last reason of why people don't want to do vault raids is because blooded builds, which are very, very popular, or at least they used to be, now junkie is kind of taking over, but not entirely, at least not yet. But blooded builds in here are quite useless because, first of all, 2 of the missions give you tons of rods, and secondly, the enemies are very strong and they can easily one-hit you even inside of power armor. Therefore, if you go around with like 20% of your HP or less, that's like one hit from a ghoul or from a blood bug. Let's not even talk about crickets or stingwings or the murder queens or, you know, any type of strong enemy that can easily kill you when you are full HP. So yeah, you really don't want to be low HP while doing vault raids. That's off way to lose it and go back home. I'm sure that you have identified yourself with some of the reasons I have presented here. I surely do, even though I'm doing vault raids. What about you? Are you doing them? Are you not doing them? Either way, let me know what's your opinion about vault raids right now. I have made a poll not so long ago, and about 60% of the people said they found vault raids a positive experience, and the other 40% were neutral or found it a negative experience. But at this point, I'm not so sure if that pool is so valid, at least from my Discord encounters, from Reddit posts and so on. But I must say that I'm quite empathetic with all of the reasons I have presented here, because I have been grinding Vault 94 for almost every day since the release. I have all the plans for the power armor, the Strangler Heart for example, but I'm missing a lot of steel. You need to farm 3 days on all the 3 difficulties in order to farm one single piece. I mean, if that's not grindy, then I'm not sure what is. And it is very exhausting, it is mind draining. Sometimes I just want to relax or to test things, and doing vault raids is the complete opposite of chilling. You have to talk all the time, you have to communicate, to coordinate with other people, you have to keep an eye on your HP, you have to attack, you have to do puzzles, you have to think ahead what to do next, push the button, open the door, check the terminal. It's a lot of things going on at the same time, and yeah, I totally understand why people don't want to do this, especially 3 raids in one single day. I mean, 1 is more than enough, but in Novice, you only get 2 Vault 94 steel. That is nothing. You need about 30 steel to craft 1 power armor piece. Exactly. So, in most cases, like myself, I do agree with most of the reasons here, but I really wanted the power armor plans, and to craft them now I need steel. So I'm forced into this grinding cycle, and I was lucky enough to find 3 other people who want the same thing. So we are together in with the same goals, let's say. But if you are not lucky enough to find a pre-made, then this is almost impossible. Doing this with randoms or without a mic, without communication, it is very difficult. In Novice, you can still do it, but in Standard and in Expert, yeah, it is just not possible unless you are extremely lucky with the puzzles and the RNG. Anyway, that's going to be everything for this video. I think that Vault Raids needs a little bit more improvement, at least with the matchmaking system, to allow people to find a team and to give them a chance to, well, do everything else, to communicate, to coordinate, to work together as a team and move forward. Let's start there, Bethesda. What about it? We already have an automatic matchmaking system in Nuclear Winter, so why not implement it for Vault Raids? I think that would be a very great idea and solve a lot of issues that are going on right now. As for everything else, I think that they need to increase the steel rewards as well. They have just increased the aid items and the experience, which is a start. It's great, it's an incentive, but it's not enough. It is really not enough. 3 days for 1 power armor piece is just, I mean, in the 3 difficulties. That's about 2 hours if you are fast and you don't fail anything. So it is a lot of grinding, and most people don't want that for their Fallout 76 experience and daily routines. I'm Marta Branco. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw, then please click in the subscribe button below. I appreciate it, and thank you in advance. Also, I have a Patreon page for anyone who would like to support me even further. I usually say this, and the link is in the video description below as well. Feel free to check it out. That's everything from me. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Adeus. Bye bye.